missed. We missed her leadership in the locker room and on the floor. Unique's presence is always felt.
After dressing 8 last game against Florida, Auburn has 12 dressed tonight, so their numbers are going up. Kentucky has Howard back, and Robin Benton and Jasmine Massengill will come off the bench. They missed the Sunday game against Vanderbilt due to COVID protocols. Ready to go at Auburn Arena. Olivia Owens will jump center against the freshman Roman Levy. Auburn in white, Kentucky in blue, and the Tigers win the tip.
And Erica, key for Auburn is to take care of the basketball. Coach Flo said she wanted Unique Thompson to get 20 to 25 paint touches in this game.
Through the hands of Hughes, an early turnover as Kentucky brings it up with Howard. In the starting 5 here for Kentucky after missing the last game with Owens, Kiki McKinney, Blair Green, Chastity Patterson leading the SEC in steals per game. And the steals will be key for both sides in this game as Patterson knocks down the 3.
And if you're an Auburn fan, you want the buckets to go down so that you can set up your full court press.
Auburn with 3 freshmen, a sophomore, and Thompson, the lone senior, in the starting 5. She gets her first 2.
And similar for Auburn, the only way to set up your full court pressure is to have the ball go in the hole. We're already seeing Auburn in a 2-2-1 extending their full court pressure.
They got a deflection, and they do get a turnover as Green throws it away. So let's go into a little detail about the turnovers and trying to turn the other team over. Auburn is forcing opponents to turn it over 20 times a game, which is good for 4th in the SEC. Simply put, that's what they do. Auburn is a defense-first team.
Absolutely, and I mean, and it's Coach Flo's mantra through and through. She's got players this year that she feels believes in this defensive mentality, and it's been evident. The key is, can they convert that into easy transition points?
Levy couldn't hit. Here's Patterson. Patterson tries to take it at Thompson. No doing there. Turning it back the other way and getting a foul is Honesty Scott Grayson, who's second on the team in scoring at better than 11 a game.
And that was one thing Coach Flo said to us yesterday, is that our team is better this year converting from defense to offense. And a big reason, Honesty Scott Grayson can get to the rim, draw contact, and usually can finish through it.
That's one thing Auburn does have when it comes to what they'll get offensively outside of Unique Thompson. With Robinson Wagoo and Scott Grayson and Sanaya Wells off the bench, Coach Flo has some guards that will attack the basket. Off the made free throw, here comes the pressure. And there's the deflection, and there's the steal. Howard comes back defensively and gets a smothering block, but in the process fouled Levy.
Foul's called on Wildcats number 10, Ryan Howard.
Great defense by Auburn. Honestly, Scott Grayson shoots the gap. Annie Hughes is able to recover the ball. Great unselfish play. And unfortunately for Ryan Howard, gets a little bit too much body there. She goes for the block.
Freshman's got to look like, what was that truck that just ran me over? That was the All-American Ryan Howard.
Well, you saw the closing speed of Ryan Howard. I think Levy thought she was going to be uncontested, and Howard just closed that gap so quickly.
So the first foul on Howard, and here is the freshman from Israel. Struggled against Florida. She was 0 for 6 from outside the three-point line, just scored a couple of points. You can tell she's got some skill, though. Just has to find the touch. Making her sixth start here today.
Sorry, Eric, I was going to say, even off the miss, Auburn's extending that full court pressure.
Now, because they have 12 dressed tonight instead of 8 dressed, can you be a little bit more aggressive and be a little bit more active with your defense since you've got a little bit more depth?
Absolutely, and I think it allows Coach Flo to mix up the defenses more because she said some of the defenses we run are very much personnel driven, and so you can add length in certain defenses as we go through this game. You'll see that with the substitutions.
McKinney. Deep three from Howard. Well, Kentucky not in the flow offensively so far. Credit Auburn defensively. Eddie Hughes, good shooter, not this time, and Howard's got it. McKinney will try it from outside and knock it down. Kiki McKinney was hot from outside the three-point line in that win against Vandy. She was 3 for 4 on threes. Kentucky's back in front.
Well, Kiki McKinney has really elevated her three-point shooting in SEC play. In the non-conference season, she was 0 of 6. With that last three, she is now 9 for 19 in SEC play.
On the cut to the basket, good find by the freshman Levy. Wazoo scores.
And that's what Auburn has to do offensively. They can't just try to jam the ball into Unique Thompson. They need to have off-ball movement. Guards need to get involved in this offense as well. And we're seeing this 1-1-3 half-court zone by Auburn, just to match up a tandem up front, and they match up accordingly.
There's Thompson in the corner, fought for it and knocked it off of McKinney. You can see how fired up Auburn is on the bench as well as they force another Kentucky turnover.
Well, Eric, I said this to you yesterday. This is a much improved Auburn team. The record does not show it. COVID protocols has really disrupted any kind of offensive as well as defensive flow for the Tigers. You know it's just a matter of time before they can just get it and put it all together.
Knocked out of bounds by Ryan Howard as Kentucky will bring some pressure against Auburn now. Sanaya Wells has come on for Auburn. Dre Edwards has checked in for Kentucky. Jasmine Massagill guarding the ball in for the Cats. And Robin Benton has checked in as well. She played for Auburn last season before transferring out, so making a return to Auburn Arena. Thompson's turnaround is no good. On the glass with a putback is Scott Grayson. So Robin Benton, who's played well in her role for Kentucky, coming off the bench, helping to give them some depth. Now back at Auburn Arena. Massengill doesn't waste any time putting up a shot after not playing last game.
Well, one thing for Kentucky, I really want to see them attack the zone and not just settle for threes. I know they've hit 2 already, but just go for the percentages and try to get paint touches for them as well in the zone offense.
Howard back to Massengill. McKinney left open again. Not this time, and loose ball picked up by Unique Thompson. And official's going to take a look at the clock, I think, because there's a little bit of a back and forth scramble just to make sure. So they'll make a shot clock adjustment. Kyra Elzy, first year as the head coach for Kentucky. 10 wins so far, coming off the win against Vanderbilt last time out. That was a good, tough game. Vanderbilt really fought hard on Sunday. 80-73 was the final. Kentucky, the phrase we use, Christy, good closers. They went on a 15-4 run to close out that game and pick up the win.
Well, you got to give Kyra Elzy credit in her rookie season. These players are putting her in late game situation night in and night out, and she is responding.
Well, the bench coming in for Auburn and coming through. Aisha Koulibaly, the freshman from Mali, gets her first points, averaging just under 5 a game. She did not score against Florida in her 17 minutes. Elena Rice, who did not play against Florida. And Florida was a challenge for Auburn. They flew in the day of the game. They had 2 players cleared day of, so that's why they waited until Sunday to fly out to Gainesville. They dressed 8 scholarship players for that game. And a foul called. Contact on Benton in the corner. That'll get us to a timeout. As we expected, we've seen ball tapped around a little bit, some bodies flying on the floor. That's what happens when Auburn gets going. They're up by 1. The pandemic, which was a challenge for every team in the country, they signed 7 players, so there's a lot of roster turnover, but she said, if you don't want to play defense, don't come to Auburn because that's our culture. So you've got to want to have a commitment defensively, and then you've got to be a little bit flexible to play in a couple of different looks, or a handful of looks like you showed us.
Well, I honestly am shocked with so many newcomers on the perimeter. They're able to mix up their defense as much as they are. And she said, hey, defense is about effort. That was the easy stuff to put in. Our offense is a little behind because of all the stops and starts due to COVID, but our defense is good. She says, we're still lacking rotations at times, but they've still been disrupted.
So Robin Benton at the free throw line. Made 62 three-pointers for Auburn in her 2 years with the Tigers. Puts Kentucky on front.
Well, Eric, I know that Kentucky missed having Ryan Howard on the floor this past Sunday against Vanderbilt, but I thought Robin Benton's absence was really big for the Wildcats because she's just been that steady guard off the bench for them all season long.
Auburn is getting on the glass here against Kentucky, and they're making the most of those second and third chances. Koulibaly with a putback.
I think Koulibaly has such an upside. Explosive first step. Unfortunately, due to injuries and some of the COVID issues, she's had to play out of position. But look out, SEC. This is a young lady who I think has a tremendous upside.
Tatiana Wyatt into the game. She stepped out of bounds. Another turnover for Kentucky. That's number 4.
Where Koulibaly came into tonight only averaging 4 points per game, already with 4 points because she's just been a beast on the glass, through the contact, and puts it in.
3 of the 7 rebounds for Auburn are offensive rebounds. Benton's got the rebound here for Kentucky. But then it's deflected by Scott Grayson. Active hands, quick feet for Auburn so far.
Well, one thing I'm seeing is that by Auburn extending their defense, even off of misses, it's slowing Kentucky's transition game down, which is a big part of Kentucky's overall offense.
Yeah, Kentucky averaging nearly 78 points a game. They don't have Ryan Howard going until now. Second field goal attempt for Howard. She knocks it down for 3.
Well, it doesn't really matter what defense you're in. You got to know where Ryan Howard is on the floor. That was just way too slow rotation out to her.
Yeah, it's safe to say any defensive game plan has to start with the first 3 lines. Ryan Howard, Ryan Howard, Ryan Howard. Then let the other stuff fill in after that. That's Wells on the drive. Benton there defensively. And Jordan picks up the foul for Auburn.
Well, Massengill pulls the defender, and just that allows Howard to spot up on the wing wide open for the 3. And we can talk about Howard's scoring, but in the press breaker, I think she's just a very difficult matchup because of her height and her passing ability. Kentucky's now moving her to the middle, and she's becoming a primary passer.
She gets an assist there as Wyatt gets it to drop. Well, that's one of the things about Ryan Howard that may get overlooked is just her complete game. Her coach has challenged her to be better on the defensive end, but like you just pointed out too, Christy, you put her in the middle of that press break. Here's a 6'2" player who can handle the ball, move the ball, has got unbelievable vision. We saw that on the pass to Wyatt.
And don't forget
Jordan.
Her rebounding prowess.
Yeah, well, I'll throw that in there as well, averaging 7 boards a game. Wyatt's got the rebound. Benton on the pull-up.
And that's where I feel like I've seen the growth of Robin Benton. I feel like a year ago she would have just settled for that 3. Now she's reading the defense and looking to attack, whether from the 3 or off the bounce.
Now Jordan will get this 3. Jayla Jordan didn't score in 7 minutes against Florida. She's got points here in the first quarter for Auburn to pull them within 3.
Well, that's one thing about Auburn and SEC play. They have started off so slow, being outscored 40-71 in the first 4 SEC games. Much better start for them here this evening.
Jordan's got a rebound. Yeah, it was a very slow start against Florida. They were down 13 after 1. They shot 19% from the field in the first half. And you can understand that for Auburn because they had the COVID pause and they had players out, and just trying to put together a practice has been a challenge for all these teams, as we've seen. Sunday, we got a big afternoon of women's hoop starting at 1 Eastern, noon Central. Fourth-ranked South Carolina coming off their win against Georgia tonight. They'll take on LSU. Then Florida will take on Ole Miss. That's followed by Texas A&M and Missouri. All games are right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. There is Edwards with the steal. She's not afraid to put it on the floor. First point for the transfer.
And as bad as it was for Auburn to turn it over, what's worse is Unique Thompson had a straight line rule, meaning her numbers were to the passer, and Levy just didn't get her the ball and instead turned it over.
Patterson averaging nearly 4 steals a game. They find the open shooter, and Patterson's got it.
So 2 straight possessions where Unique Thompson is showing her numbers to the perimeter players, and she doesn't get a touch.
Howard finds Edwards. Final minute, first quarter. Kentucky, after a slow start, heating up. They've made 5 of their last 6 shots. And they are swarming Unique Thompson right now. She hasn't gotten a touch. Now she's got it. And she traveled.
Well, anytime Unique Thompson touches the ball, you're going to see Auburn perimeter players collapse on her. They want to make someone else from Auburn beat them tonight.
There's Auburn with the steal. Honesty, Scott Grayson. The heave is off the iron, and that will do it. So after Kentucky went on a run, they get another Kentucky turnover, does Auburn, to make things difficult for Auburn here late in the first quarter, Christy.
It's called Chastity Patterson. I mean, she gets up, extends her defense, and it really can affect an opposing offense. And so what Auburn's doing now is allowing Romy Levy to bring the ball up, and it's just making Auburn a little slow to get into their half-court offense in a fluid manner.
Patterson is that disruptive force, 5th in the country in steals per game. Now calling the shots to start the second quarter at the point for the Wildcats. Blair Green, who had the hot hand against Vanderbilt, can't get it. Owens kept it alive into the hands of Benton. Benton deep 2. Another offensive rebound. Patterson finds Owens.
2 offensive rebounds in that possession for Kentucky, and the reason they were able to get them is the ball moved side to side, which meant Auburn's players were always scrambling and couldn't box out. Great job by Kentucky on the glass.
8 different scores for the Wildcats so far. And a blocking foul called on the drive by Robinson Wagoo.
Well, I like the fact that she almost turned it over because Patterson was up in her, so she just attacked the glass and was able to get to the rim. And I do believe that Wildcat player was in the restricted arc, which is why she was able to get that foul called.
Into the game for Kentucky, number 14, Tatiana Wyatt.
Tatiana Wyatt back in for the Wildcats as Kiki McKinney goes to the bench. So here's Morgan, the sophomore from Norcross, Georgia, who missed 3 games this year with an ankle injury, making her 2nd career start tonight. First came last game against Florida when she played 31 minutes, scored a career-high 9 points.
Here to the game for Auburn, number 0, Alicia Reese.
Alicia Reese will come in. She did not play against Florida due to injury. She returned to practice on Tuesday, so we'll see how many minutes the junior college transfer will be able to give here. Yeah, it's going to be a foul It looks like it's called on Scott Grayson.
Number 23, Honesty Scott Grayson. That's her second and the team first.
That's her second personal foul.
And Eric, that was the first time we've seen Auburn mix it up into that 1-2-2 full court pressure.
Owens, Patterson, Ryan Howard back into the game. Feed into Owens. 2 fouls, but that is what Chastity Patterson is so good at. When you want to try to cross her over, she's too quick. She's going to get it. She's going to get a piece of it or she's going to take it away. We have seen that time and again for Patterson playing for Kentucky this season.
I used to tell my, I'll just say, smaller players, vertically challenged guards, you've got to learn to use your size at your advantage. And I think Chastity Patterson has done that remarkably. She's low to the ground, and she just sizes up and times that crossover so well and picks pockets.
What did you tell your non-vertically challenged players like Ryan Howard? I'm sure you coached a Ryan Howard or two back in your day, who just came in and got that block.
I'd still be coaching. Right? I would still be coaching if I had a Ryan Howard.
Thompson couldn't hold on to it. Thompson fighting again, and she was fouled.
Foul call on Kentucky, 0-0.
Take you back to that steal by Patterson.
She just sizes you up and waits. You could see her measuring up, pokes it out, and then just takes it in for the layup. I can just say as a former point guard a long, long time ago, I didn't like having smaller defenders on me because it's simply what Chastity Patterson's doing so well. You had to always keep the ball behind your back or have a part of your body to protect it.
Levy rattles it in for 3. Making threes a premium for Auburn, 25% on the season. That's last in the SEC. Patterson, aggressive take. Thompson's got the rebound.
Well, in some ways, that could be a misleading stat for Auburn because they turn you over, they get out in transition and score, or smartly, they get it down low to Unique Thompson.
Levy on the drive, thought she was fouled. And then Kentucky lost it out of bounds. Now Kentucky...
Yeah, Wyatt just never got back in bounds to establish herself.
Wyatt will check in. Check out, rather. Edwards will check in. Thompson got Edwards in the air. Here's Howard. And then thrown away by Massengill, trying to find Edwards posting up. 6 turnovers now for Kentucky. Levy. Open look. 3 won't drop, and a rebound for Blair Green.
You almost think Kentucky wants to speed Auburn up and let them have those three-point opportunities because if they're shooting the threes, that means Unique Thompson's not getting touches down low.
Officials stop play. Is there a contact on the ground?
I love when everybody walks there to try to help. They have good intentions, but that's where you want everybody to stay away so no one steps on it.
So Thompson will come out. Jordan will come in. Rice will check in for Auburn as well. And it looks like the contact's a lost cause.
Well, the good news is every good trainer has an extra set in their training bag, so I'm sure that Unique is getting a new pair put in right now.
Maybe 2 sets for Unique with all the contacts she has down in the post. Good find, but a traveling violation and a turnover for Auburn. Reese playing in her 7th game for Auburn. Howard deflected to Benton. Edwards in trouble, knocked out of bounds by Jordan. 11 to shoot for Kentucky.
And you can tell Kentucky's making a concerted effort to make sure the ball goes inside. They don't want to settle for outside shots. They're trying to get their low post touches.
Benton knocks down a 3.
Great execution by Kentucky to run the inbounder back in quickly as Auburn was in a rotation.
Robin Benton leading Kentucky in scoring with 7. Wells on the drive. Edwards the rebound. For Howard. Howard's been more of a facilitator so far for Kentucky here tonight.
I think that's what makes Ryan Howard so special. She doesn't come out feeling like she's got to put up 30 every night. If her team needs her to, that's what she does, but she's perfectly content playing defense, rebounding, defending, doing whatever it takes to help her team win.
Shot clock was winding down. She attempted a 3. She's now 1 for 4 from the field. All 4 field goal attempts have been 3-pointers. Levy to Jordan. Gets the turnaround. So Jordan into the game with Thompson getting a new contact. 5-point game. Blair Green, we saw against Vanderbilt. You can't leave her open. She will get it going from outside. Knocked down 4 3-pointers in the win against Vanderbilt Sunday.
How confident does Blair Green look right now? I mean, she's always been known for her outside shooting, but she's doing it off the bounce. She's playing point guard, as we saw at the end of the Vanderbilt game.
Jordan playing with a lot of confidence. She knocks down a 3-pointer.
You wonder if Jayla Jordan might have swiped Unique Thompson's contact out just so she could get these pulls, because she's making the most of the time.
Edwards. Green will try 2. She went for a career-high 22 on Sunday. Wells. Stripped by Massengill. Massengill drops it off to Benton, can't get it. Fighting for it on the inside is Ryan Howard, and she'll head to the free throw line when we come back.
Sometimes they say you just can't go home, but Robin Benton's making the most of her return to Auburn, knocking down the 3.
And the contact's going in, so she lost the contact, came out of the game, and now she can see clearly now. 1 for 3 from the field so far for Thompson. 2 points to go along with 3 rebounds and 1 assist. Kentucky ball out of the timeout. Patterson.
Kentucky ran a set play on that out of bounds for Benton to come in, trying to get her the 3, but Auburn defended it very well.
Edwards, awkward shot with the shot clock winding down, and she gets it to go.
Well, I think that awkward release was respect for Unique Thompson's shot blocking ability, so she just kind of put it up quickly and got it to go down.
Howard with the block. Not doing it with scoring, as we mentioned a few minutes ago, getting involved defensively and also as a facilitator. Green's just going to keep hitting there. They find the gap in the zone.
Well, the way to
Green
attack any half-court zone is to get it to the nail. And Kentucky's doing a great job of looking and finding scores there, and Auburn's got to do a better job of covering down to the high post.
Good play by Ryan Howard after losing it. She fought back hard and drew a foul on Auburn.
Auburn number 23, honestly, Scott Grayson.
Tried to go with the behind-the-back pass. That wasn't going to work out. But try to make amends. You see Ryan in conference play. He's got 3 points tonight, averaging only almost 28 points a game in SEC games, highlighted by 33 against Mississippi State, 32 against South Carolina. Benton, can she keep it going? No. Auburn ball. Well, studio mentioned South Carolina picking up a win to stretch their winning streak to 8 games, 62-50 over Georgia. Defensive battle in that one, as we would expect. Aaliyah Boston, her second career triple-double, 16 points, 11 rebounds, 10 blocks tonight. Her first career triple-double came in her first career game. She does this in an SEC game.
Well, she was on pace in the first quarter against Arkansas on Monday night to do it. But Arkansas stopped driving at her, so the blocks slowed down considerably.
Reese last to touch it. It'll be Kentucky ball with 1:39 to go before halftime. And UConn with a 22-12 fourth quarter beats Tennessee in Knoxville, 67-61 the final. So the highlights, analysis, details coming up at halftime. .90 seconds to go to halftime as Edwards turns it over. That's number 7 for Kentucky. Hughes took it in deep, tried to feed it to Coulibaly, who was fouled.
Great job by Coulibaly to run the floor and not just assume Hughes would take it up for the layup. Was able to get the dump down pass and draw the foul.
Coulibaly with 6, a chance to add to it at the free throw line. Coach Flo talked about putting players in positions where they may not be comfortable, where they may not belong in the long-range plan for Auburn, but desperate COVID times call for desperate COVID measures, and Coulibaly's a young player who's been thrown into the post, thrown into the fire down low in the SEC.
Well, I just got to say it again. Auburn's defense is so much further along than I would have expected, considering no spring practice and no summer practice, especially with all these newcomers. They've taken to the defensive system very quickly and have still been able to be disruptive.
Wyatt scores for Kentucky. She's got 4. And Hughes brings it across. 10-point game now, final minute. Hughes, 7 to shoot. No touch for Thompson. Down to 2 seconds, down to 1, and Howard stepped out of bounds, and she had possession, so it'll be a new shot clock for Auburn. Shot clock was just about set to expire, and Howard stepped out of bounds.
Well, Kentucky switched to a 3-2 zone, and you can tell that it's confusing the perimeter players for Auburn because you see the weak side was wide open and they missed her, and there, unfortunately, Ryan Howard's foot's on the line as she ripped the ball away from the offensive player. Oh, they're going to say Ryan Howard did not have possession because they're putting 3 seconds back on the shot clock.
So they do go back. You saw the shot clock get reset, but they have 3 on the shot clock. Thompson was fouled, and she'll head to the free throw line.
Well, that's all from the bench at Auburn. You heard the coaching staff put players where they wanted. With 3 seconds on the shot clock, they wanted to lob it up to Unique Thompson. Great execution by Auburn to draw the foul.
That's a break for Auburn, really, because when Howard was whistled for having the ball out of bounds, the shot clock was set to expire. So they go back and they put 3 on the clock. That seemed to be pretty generous when you look back at it. It gave Auburn a chance to do something with Unique Thompson. Now she's doing something with it at the free throw line.
And probably just as importantly, if this game stays close, as that is the second foul on Ryan Howard.
So Howard to the bench with the 2 personal fouls. 8-point game. Kentucky ball and lead as we wind down in the second quarter.
We're seeing a 1-3-1 from Auburn for the first time here this evening.
Benton no. Massengill on the boards. Patterson. That won't drop. And stepping out of bounds is Reese. It'll be Kentucky ball with 8.2 to go. Halftime report coming up. Highlights from the UConn-Tennessee showdown in Knoxville. And Aaliyah Boston's triple-double, leading South Carolina to their 8th straight win, knocking off Georgia. Green down to 3, down to 2, and Thompson's got it. And that will do it for the first half. So Auburn battling against 12th ranked Kentucky within 8 at halftime. Robin Benton leading the way for Kentucky in the first half with 7 points, as Ryan Howard held to 3 in the first half. Alyssa running the point. Take it away.
Have been shut down and only able to score a combined 8 points. Kentucky has had balanced scoring to offset Auburn's defense, and they're going to need a little bit more of that here in the second half.
Coulibaly with 7 points. Her career high is 12. Came against LSU. Thompson in the first half held to 4 points on 1 of 3 shooting. Ryan Howard held to 3 points on 1 of 4 shooting. Auburn first possession of the second half. You can see the head-to-head matchup between Thompson and Howard. Here is a paint touch for Thompson. She only had 4 paint touches in the first half. And what does Unique do well? She offensive rebounds, leading the country in that category. Can't get this one off the miss, and Owens gets it to Patterson.
But Thompson got a paint touch, drew the double team, which left the teammate wide open. She doesn't necessarily have to score when she gets the touch, but good offense can be developed from it.
Green is the first player for either side into double figures. She has 10. Give another assist to Ryan Howard. She now has 3 assists. And Kentucky's on top by 11. That matches their largest lead. Wide open look for Honesty Scott Grayson. There is Thompson with the putback and the foul. She may not have gotten a lot of paint touches in the first half, but where she gets a lot of her offense is in a situation like we just saw. Offensive rebound and getting the putback.
She's so disciplined because she just goes straight up, times her jump so well, is able to snatch it and put it right back in.
.78% free throw shooter. Finishes the three-point play. Tops in the country in total rebounding and in offensive rebounding, and 5th in double-doubles. 50 career double-doubles now for Unique Thompson.
Well, I went back and looked like what happened in the first game of the season when she didn't get a double-double, which is the only time this season, and they were kind of winning big, so she sat the majority of that second half.
Yeah, that 50th double-double, just to be clear, came against Florida. She's got a little work to do tonight, 7 points and 6 boards. Patterson to the free throw line. Hughes picked up the foul, her first. 5 assists in the first half for Chastity to go along with her 5 points. Nine different scores for Kentucky. Patterson gets a hand on it, has Howard wide open, but the long reach of Romy Levy at 6'2". She needed all of that wingspan to knock that out of play.
You see the basketball IQ of Levy on full display. She's had to handle the ball some. She's done a couple of hustle plays, rebounded the ball. Just kind of that utility player for Auburn this season.
Officials having a little discussion. They've got 28 on the shot clock. It is Kentucky ball and a 10-point lead for the Wildcats. Kentucky 3-2 in conference play. Auburn looking for their first conference win. Owens drives on Levy, who gets called for the foul.
Foul's called on Auburn number 11, Romy Levy. That's her first and the team's second.
I think with Romy's facial expressions, she leaves little doubt how she feels about things. That's what we're learning about this young player.
That's it. She's got length. I'll give her that.
Olivia Owens at the free throw line. So Kentucky's been going with Owens in the starting lineup and Edwards coming off the bench. Howard gets the rebound and a second chance here for Kentucky. Ryan gets called for the offensive foul. Levy took the contact.
Offensive foul called on Kentucky.
That's her third.
Howard, that's her third and team second.
Well, the freshman Levy just moves her feet, doesn't cut her off exactly, but Howard gets caught for lowering that shoulder, just trying to create a little space to elevate and shoot. Great call by the official.
Well, Kentucky had to find a way to win to beat Vanderbilt without Howard on Sunday. They'll be without Howard here for the next few minutes as she goes to the bench with three. Driving to the basket and scoring is Hughes, and the foul. Didn't know if there's going to be enough on that pass for Robinson Wagoo to get all the way to Hughes, but it got there, and Hughes will go to the line.
Robinson Wagoo has just had to handle this Kentucky pressure, and I'm not sure if that was meant for Annie Hughes, but way to be at the right place at the right time, Annie Hughes, to knock it down and get to the free throw line.
Gets her first points of the game. She'll finish the three-point play. 8-point Kentucky lead.
And that's the veteran Chastity Patterson, just breaking the pressure and then getting her team set up into a half-court offense.
Green can't leave her open. Simply put, can't leave her open. 13 points now for Blair Green. She is 3 of 4 from outside the three-point line.
And as you said earlier, Eric, she's just picked up where she left off on Sunday. The basket must look so big to Blair Green right now. And the thing about it is she's not forcing any action. She's just taking what the defense gives her.
It's going to be 12 points for Green. They called that a 2. So that last one was a 2 for Green. She's got 12. She's leading Kentucky in scoring. I think my point still stands. Don't leave Blair Green open. 3, 2, wherever.
You know what? You could be a college coach. The in-depth analysis is amazing. But I completely agree with you, partner.
Green feeds it into Edwards. Inside out. McKinney can't get it.
But I think what we're seeing since Sunday's game without Ryan Howard, now without Ryan Howard on the floor, is you're seeing the selfless and just at ease offense by Kentucky. They're not forcing action, and they're moving the ball extremely well, because that time they even let Auburn get in on the action as they threw it to them and then got it back.
Coulibaly forced one turnover, then she turned it over herself and then gets called for the foul, hitting Patterson. That'll be the second on Coulibaly. Men's basketball Saturday on the SEC Network. Should be a good one. Number 19, Missouri takes on 6th-ranked Tennessee in Knoxville. It's at 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Central. And, of course, it's also available on the ESPN app. So Howard with 3, Owens with 3 for Kentucky, Scott Grayson with 3 for Auburn. Coulibaly heads to the bench with 2. Edwards, another awkward shot goes down for Dre Edwards.
Great job by Kentucky, though. They enter it to the wing to pull the ball side forward, and that left her Edwards one-on-one in the low post, and that's a tough matchup for anyone because of Edwards' versatility off the bounce and her ability to create separation.
Wells can't hit a 3, and a foul's going to be called on Benton for hitting Scott Grayson. This is the largest lead of the game for the Wildcats, who are up by 8 at halftime. Jayla Jordan, who scored 8 points in the first half, can't hit there. Here's Benton. Levy with the rebound.
I'd love to see, honestly, Scott Grayson get involved offensively now for Auburn.
She had the open look, couldn't hit it. And here's Massengill back the other way. Thompson on the bench right now for Auburn. And Green comes through again. And a timeout is called with 5:40 to go in the third. A 6-0 run for the Wildcats up in the third. And dementia and all those things that just strip away the memories and then take away the lives of people that she loved so much. And this is part of her Tennessee family here, all head coaches now, 4 in the SEC. Kara Lawson at Duke, who all played for Pat Summitt.
When Eric, we had the chance to ask Kyra, what would Pat think of all of you guys coaching in the SEC? And she said she would love it. And she said she always talked about to carry on her legacy. And Kyra said how many times the Lady Vol sisterhood. And the smile on her face every time she talked about Pat Summitt. You could see the not just the respect, but the genuine love for her coach and mentor.
Jayla Jordan knocks down the three. We asked Kyra for her favorite Pat story. She said freshman year that Pat wrote her. She wanted Pat to forget her name because she said it so much. And she said, Kyra Joe. It wasn't just Kyra, it's Kyra Joe every time. They fell out of the top 25, and Coach Summitt went up to her and said, I am a 2-guard away from a national championship. She said it every day. And she said, I came all the way to LaGrange, Kentucky, Kyra Joe's hometown, to recruit you. She put it on paper. Well, we know what happened. Kyra Joe in Tennessee went on to win the national championship. Kyra Joe put that note right at Coach Summitt. And Pat had said, if we win it, you can put that note right back in my face. And Pat said, I knew you had it in you. I just had to get it out of you.
Well, I'll say to all Lady Vol fans out there, if you haven't already, go back to Twitter and look at the Doug Feinbaum interview with Kelly Jolly, with Nikki Pinson, as well as Kyra Elzy. Some great stories about their days with Pat Summitt.
So Rice on the drive. She gets fouled, and she will go to the free throw line. That will happen when we return. Auburn Arena, 54-43 in the third. Hot from the field, shooting better than 50%, with Blair Green setting the tone for the Wildcats. Christy?
36 points by Blair Green in the last 6 quarters, 6 of 8 here this evening. And Eric, I'll say it again, she's just taking what the defense gives her. She's so composed. She's reading the defense. She's doing the hard work before the ball even hits her hands, because she is set and loaded, and all she has to do is elevate. And as we're seeing tonight, knocking them down.
Green 6 of 8 from the field, a game-high 14 points. Ryan Howard has been quiet tonight in her return for Kentucky. 3 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 personal fouls. So again, it's Green and Edwards and Benton in this game leading the way. Benton didn't play last game. Edwards in the double figures with 10. Green with the 14, as I mentioned, and Ryan Howard on the bench right now.
As play resumes, number 22, Elena Rice to shoot 1.
The foul was on Massengill, her first personal, and Elena Rice will try to finish off the three-point play. Knocked out of bounds by Reese. Kentucky ball. Auburn will bring their defense back a little bit.
Looks like they're in the 1-3-1 now in the half court.
Massengill. McKinney with the rebound. Patterson a deep three. In and out. Here comes Auburn. Thompson gets the paint touch and gets the roll.
Great job by Unique Thompson to get that shot off, because the double team was coming from Auburn. I'm sorry, from Kentucky.
Howard getting ready to check back into the game for the Wildcats. Edwards, good catch, couldn't finish. Scott Grayson somehow kept possession. Three-pointer is good. Reese knocks down the three. She is now 3 for 7. Make it 3 for 8 on three-pointers this year. Didn't play against Florida, and a timeout is called with Kentucky now up by 6.
Well, no quit.
At most arenas, how they've flipped the benches. They've tried to make more room to spread out the chairs for the players and the coaches and the support staff. Massengill across half court, inside of 3 to go in the third quarter. 12th ranked Kentucky looking for their 4th conference win. Ryan Howard returning to the lineup after missing the last game with a foot injury, back on the floor, fighting foul trouble here tonight. Wyatt comes up short. Thompson's got a rebound.
And Auburn changed up their defense in that timeout, came out in the 3-2, and I got to believe that Kentucky was talking about the 1-3-1, so it just took them out of that flow again from an offensive perspective.
That comes up short, and a foul is going to be called on Auburn.
Foul is called on Auburn number 20, Unique Thompson, and that's her first.
Thompson picks up her first personal. Unique now with 9 points, 7 rebounds. Kentucky stretched it out to a 12-point lead at 52-38, but since that time, Auburn has chipped away, and with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter, they're down by 6.
And I know that Auburn doesn't have an SEC win. However, in every one of their conference games, they've dug a hole and they've fought back, as we're seeing again here tonight.
Need a bucket? It's Ryan time. Howard buries a 3. Her second three-pointer of the game. Patterson, steal, save, up ahead to Howard. 2 more.
Number 10, Ryan Howard.
She just makes it look so easy. She is so athletically gifted, and she doesn't force herself to go faster or slower. One thing about Ryan Howard is she's always in control of the tempo on the floor.
Levy gets the hoop for Auburn. First points of the second half for Levy, 5 for the game as we approach a minute to go in the third. And Levy steps up for the steal. Scott Grayson was on a tightrope on the sideline, stayed in bounds, got it to Thompson, who couldn't score. Massengill from the corner. Flipped up ahead, trying to feed it to Reese. Turnover, and here comes Patterson. Massengill will settle things down, thankfully. Get it a hand to Ryan Howard. Will it be a Howard shot? Howard with 4, with 3 to Patterson. Patterson's got nowhere to go, and Kentucky does not get off a final shot. And Kyra Elzy is less than pleased with that. But her team is on top by 9 at the end of 3.
Fourth quarter.
Kiki McKinney comes out for Kentucky. Patterson, who's been very disruptive, leading the SEC in steals per game, the national leader in total steals. As Christy mentioned, picking up her 4th steal late in that third quarter. She's got it to start the 4th. Green Well, I got to say, Kentucky struggled at times, and that's Kyra Elsie's opinion about how they worked offensively against the Vanderbilt zone. And they went to work on their zone offense this week, and they've come up with some answers against Auburn zone.
Well, I feel like they're being very patient, and then you're seeing different players flash to the nail, meaning the middle of the free throw line for those wide open shots.
11 points now for Thompson. 3 rebounds shy of another double-double. Kyra Elsie wants the ball in Ryan Howard's hands. She'll launch from deep and effortlessly bury the 3.
You know how you asked me earlier if I had a Ryan Howard kind of player? Like, that right there is just case in point. Kyra Elsie's calling a play for Ryan Howard. Ryan Howard just elevates and knocks down a 3.
So what's this, a full step behind the men's three-point line? Yep, looks that way.
I think that was in the Birmingham area code.
So Patterson, again, disruptive for Kentucky. Got back there, tied it up. Possession arrow gives it to Auburn. And here come the Tigers. And a turnover for Auburn.
That's just a mental miscue by Auburn not to realize the shot clock.
Yeah, after Patterson got the tie-up, no reset of the clock, so didn't get it across half court in time. 13 turnovers now for Auburn. Again into the hands of Ryan Howard. Patterson will try it from Ryan Howard land. Can't get it. Robinson Wagoo, and there's Patterson's quick hands knocking it away again.
Patterson being just the epitome of a true point guard, getting her team set up in the half court, but from a defensive perspective, just creating havoc for anybody that she's defending. At times, players have thought they've been in the clear, but Chastity Patterson just runs them down, as we just saw, deflects it out of bounds to get her defense set.
Sanaya Wells will check back in for Auburn. Three-pointer won't go, and it's a rebound for Green. It's a Patterson. Knocked away by Unique Thompson. Howard running back, but can't stop Honesty Scott Grayson, who's got her first points of the second half. 8 in total, and it's a 10-point game. Wide open deep 3 for Patterson. That won't drop. And a foul called on Kentucky.
Foul called on Kentucky, number 3, Kiki McKinney. That's her third. And the team first.
Kentucky 3 for 8 from outside the three-point line this half.
Number 14, Jayla Jordan. Also number 3, Andy Hughes. Entering for Kentucky, number 1.
Robin Benton will come back in for the Wildcats. So 3 fouls on McKinney, 3 fouls on Howard, 3 on Owens. Scott Grayson, the only one with more than 2 for Auburn.
But
Robinson
it doesn't. Sorry, what I was going to say, it doesn't really affect Kentucky big picture because of the depth they have, the versatility they have in their players, and because you have Ryan Howard on the floor.
Howard can't hit the 3, but Wyatt's got an offensive rebound and a second chance here for the Wildcats. McKinney. Shot clock at 4. Howard turned it over.
Here in the game for Auburn, number 22, Elena Rice.
Give Annie Hughes credit. She knew the shot clock was running down, so she just tried to stay between Ryan Howard and the basket, and Howard gets called for the travel.
Coulibaly. Jordan Play with a lot of confidence tonight. Can't get it on that drive, but Koulibaly's got an offensive rebound. Rice. Blocked by Howard. And then last touched by Rice. Kentucky ball.
Into the game for Kentucky, 0-0, Olivia Owens.
Have we mentioned how many different ways Ryan Howard can affect a game? Not even her player. Rotates over to get the block. Goes off the Auburn player.
Timeout called. 6.
Every time I think Auburn's going to get it into single digits, and it's been a variety of players. It hasn't just been Ryan Howard. Someone for Kentucky has stepped up and knocked down a big shot. But I also have to give Kentucky credit for their own defense. They have forced 13 turnovers by Auburn. The bigger piece to that is they've turned that into 17 easy transition points.
And on average, Auburn has turned their opponents over 20 times per game. Kentucky has turned it over 12 times as we play with closing in on 6 minutes to go in the fourth. Shot clock at 5 as Benton launches. Well, the three-point shot not dropping as often for Kentucky here in the second half, and that's left the door open here for Auburn. And they convert with Scott Grayson into double figures now at 10.
And Scott Grayson's the one who I think has to really lead this Auburn team from an offensive perspective here down the stretch. She came into the night, her last 2 games, shooting 50% from 3 as well as from the field and averaging almost 21 points a game. She's got to get more pulls here the rest of this game.
Benton will try it from the corner and hit. Robin Benton answers right back with a 3.
Well, I think right now we have it in a nutshell why Auburn can't really cut into this Kentucky lead, because every time they have a big 2, Kentucky's been usually answering with a 3 of their own.
On the pass, offensive foul on Auburn. Howard again taking the contact.
Offensive foul called on number 23, Honesty Scott Grayson. That's her 4th. And the team first.
Honestly, Scott Grayson's just trying to make something happen off the bounce, but credit Ryan Howard for the rotation. Stands her ground, gets there before the offensive player to draw the charge.
And got her heels just in front of that restricted arc. So Howard takes the contact. Ryan's into double figures with 11. She's got 4 rebounds, 3 assists. Still with the 3 fouls. As we close in on 5 minutes to go, and Green was in the backcourt after being in the front court. So it's a backcourt violation.
And Auburn gets Unique Thompson back in the game now for the last 5 minutes.
Thompson. Well, it's a good thing she caught it, because I thought that was going to bounce off her face. It came in so hot, but she's got the quick hands and the soft hands, able to score, and that brings it back down to 9.
Well, Auburn's has been able to create off the bounce these last couple of possessions. That time able to convert them into points.
4.5 to play. Owens scores inside against Thompson.
And I just think for Kentucky to really make a run, and I'm going to say it at South Carolina in the SEC, they're going to have to get their post players touches, and they've got to convert. And Olivia Owens is that player that I've really got my eye on for Kentucky down the stretch.
Again, an outside shot. That won't drop. They didn't get Thompson a touch. She has to go get it herself. She ties it up. Possession arrow pointing Kentucky's way. By our count, Unique has 10 paint touches. And again, what was the goal for Auburn coming into a game?
15
to 25. Yeah, 15 to 20?
Yes.
So still well under that. And a timeout called by Kentucky as Benton was caught on the sideline.
Should be a 30-second timeout.
Comes with 3:47 to go. Well, when you talk about Kentucky trying to challenge the top teams in the...
Her presence felt from a defensive perspective, because I think when she's up defensively, the rest of the team feeds off of her tenacity. I think they've got to do a better job of limiting their turnovers. And then honestly, as we've seen in these last two games, be patient. You don't have to force the action, but take what the defense gives you. And I said this before, whether it's Olivia Owens or Tatiana Wyatt, they've got to establish a low post presence.
You saw that Kentucky, even though they're ranked 12th in the country, they're 3-2 in the conference. Their first 4 conference games were against ranked teams. They had a very difficult schedule right out of the blocks in SEC play. Thompson with the rebound. Thompson puts it in for 2. This is what Kentucky did in those first 4 games against ranked teams. Home win, road win, and then a loss on the road to A&M. And they were in it late against South Carolina, ended up losing by 5 in Lexington. Trying to put Auburn away on the road here tonight. McKinney gets it to go.
Number 3, Kiki McKinney for 2.
And how about how steady McKinney has been at crunch time for the Wildcats? Hit a big 3, some big shots against Vandy down the stretch, and just now with that the huge 2 points.
Benton goes down. Rice hits. 4 points now for the sophomore. Howard will slow things down for the Wildcats as we close in on 2 minutes to go. McKinney's got that range, not this time, but Howard's got the rebound and will earn a trip to the free throw line.
Foul call on Auburn, number 20, Unique Thompson. That's her second.
Second foul on Thompson.
Entering the game for Kentucky, number 44.
Comes with 1:55 to go in the 4th. We talked about the tough schedule to start. Of the final 12 games on the schedule for Kentucky, 4 against teams currently ranked: South Carolina, Georgia, and Tennessee twice. So it does ease up for Kentucky, but there's been nothing easy about the game against Vanderbilt, and Auburn's made it tough as well. SEC Now team is standing by. Breakdown of tonight's games, interviews with coaches and players here in the SEC Network and the ESPN app. Melissa Drea Steffi will review South Carolina's win over Georgia. Aaliyah Boston with the triple-double. Thompson counted and 1.
Well, we have said it since the opening. Unique Thompson needs touches, and here we're seeing it down the stretch from offensive rebounds. Now with the flash, catch, drive, kiss it off the glass for 2.
And a little talk after. $18 now for Unique Thompson. 14 coming in the second half. 7-point game. Now with 90 seconds to go. Pass barely got through to Benton, and Benton tried to get it to Edwards. And Edwards was fouled, and she'll go to the line to shoot a couple. Third on Thompson.
Entering the game for Kentucky, number 13, Jasmine Massengill.
Jasmine Massengill comes in for Kentucky. So Auburn's made their last 3 field goals, 5 of their last 7 overall. To make it interesting, and the missed free throw adds to the intrigue a little bit. Missed them both. 72-65. Thompson The turnaround for two. Timeout called with 1:06 to go. 72-67.